Almost every mid-career professional that I speak to has the same question when it comes to cover letters. Do I need one? Or is this something that I'm just going to waste my time on? Is anyone even reading them? The answer to this is more nuanced than a simple no. The cover letter itself has not disappeared, but what makes a cover letter worth reading and what can a cover letter do for you in your mid-career job search is what I'm talking about here today. When done right, cover letters can make a significant difference in your ability to land an interview, which is what can lead to the offer. But most people are still writing cover letters like they did 15 years ago, or they're using AI to completely delegate the task. And that leads to cover letters that get ignored. Before we get into it, let me briefly introduce myself. I'm Danielle Bradley, and I'm a career coach for mid-career professionals. Today, we'll talk about what a modern cover letter needs, when you should write one and when you shouldn't bother, and what's the difference between one that helps you get the interview versus one that goes into the no pile. So here's the question that everyone is asking. Do hiring managers even read cover letters? Of course, this will depend on the hiring manager. Some hiring managers will read every single cover letter. Some will never open it. But the trick is that we don't typically know which camp they're going to fall under. One thing I do know is that when you write a cover letter in the right way, it helps it to get open, to get read, and it can help you get in the door. But if your cover letter looks generic or looks like it's been completely written by AI, it's going to work against you potentially. So the real question then is not whether or not you should write one. It's how do you write one that is worth reading, and how do you get someone to open it? And there are some things that you can do to make that more likely. More about this shortly. So let's talk about what a cover letter is supposed to do. Most people treat the cover letter as a summary of their resume, and that's the first mistake. If someone opens your cover letter and it's just another way to summarize your resume, then they really don't need to read it because they already have your resume. The cover letter really has one job, and it's to answer a question that your resume can't do. Why this role at this company right now, and why you? Your resume shows what you've done. The cover letter shows that you understand what they need and that you're interested in solving the problems that they're having, which is why the role is open in the first place. When it does that well, it makes hiring managers want to meet you. There are several mistakes that make cover letters worthless, basically. Number one is starting with the traditional, I am applying for the position of such and such. Every hiring manager has read cover letters that start like this, and it doesn't do anything for you. It doesn't do anything to position you as someone that they should pay attention to. The second mistake I see people make with cover letters is summarizing your resume into the cover letter and having these long paragraphs. No one is reading the long paragraphs. Another mistake I see people make is writing about what the role will do for you. Hiring managers at this point are not thinking about what the role will do for you. They're thinking about what it will do for them. Another mistake is being vague about why this company and why this role. If your cover letter could be sent as is to any employer for any role, it's going to be generic and it will not do its job. Finally, if your cover letter is more than one page, they're not going to read it. We need to be concise yet precise. So when do you need a cover letter? Well, if you're applying to a role where there's only an easy apply button and they will not accept a cover letter, then you may not be able to include it. In that case, don't worry, focus on making sure that your resume is clearly positioning you for the role and that your LinkedIn profile is fully optimized as well. Of course, if the application asks for a cover letter, you must include one. But if they don't ask and you're able to attach one, I highly recommend for the reasons that we've already discussed. And if you have a specific connection that you know at the company that is potentially going to help to get your resume to the top of the pile, it doesn't hurt to mention that that is how you heard about the role. You can mention the person's name in your cover letter. And if you're trying to make a career pivot and you do not have all of the requirements for the role, a cover letter can help you bridge the gap between your resume and what they're looking for. I will share an example shortly on this. So what does a cover letter that gets read look like? First, you want your opening to lead with something specific. almost like a headline. Don't start with I. Start with something that shows that you have done your homework, you have done your research. So you can start with a specific observation that you have made about the company, something that you know they're working on, or a problem in the industry that's relevant for the role. Something like this. Your recent expansion into the North American market caught my attention, particularly because it mirrors a challenge I led at my previous company when we scaled operations across 3 new regions in under 18 months. That opening tells the reader immediately that you're not sending out a generic cover letter. Your second paragraph, this is where you want to connect to the specific need that they have. You don't want to reference your entire resume. Pick 1 or 2 specific examples that are directly relevant to the role, and you can be specific and give them a result. Here's an example. In my last role, I led a restructuring of our procurement function that reduced costs by 22% over 2 years while maintaining supplier relationships across 14 countries. In your third paragraph, you can show that you understand their world. Do some research, find out what they're working on and what challenges the industry might be facing. When you show that you understand their context and not just your background, you stop looking like a candidate who's applying everywhere. In closing your cover letter, you can make a direct ask. Don't end like, I look forward to hear back from you at your earliest convenience. Instead, you want to end with something that shows confidence. Something like this. I'd welcome the opportunity to talk through how my background could be relevant to what you're building. Now let's talk about how can we make it more likely that they will actually read the cover letter. It's all in what you name it. Rather than naming it your name or a generic cover letter as the name of your file, you want to find something that will pique their curiosity. As humans, the majority of us are curious. And if we see something as an attachment that isn't named cover letter, that is relevant to their business, it's way more likely that they will click on that and open it and actually read it. So here's an example when I was in corporate after a layoff and I was applying to different roles. I applied to a company that was a publishing company and I named my cover letter Love of Reading. Of course, in the cover letter, I told a story that was 100% relevant to that title and to their business and why I was really excited about the opportunity. But it did get me an interview, even though I didn't even have all the requirements. Now, what about AI? Let's talk about that elephant in this room here when it comes to writing cover letters. Hiring managers are seeing AI-generated cover letters all the time now. But they recognize the patterns and the phrasing, and they can tell when it's been completely written with AI. Then it might signal that you don't have enough interest in the role to write something unique for them, or that you're applying to so many different places that you just don't have the time to write a proper cover letter. Yes, of course, you can use AI to help you, but I recommend starting with what it is that interests you about the role. Make it specific. Use AI to help you fine-tune the writing, not to fully delegate the entire cover letter. Add the specific details that are relevant to you that only you would know. That adds a human touch and makes a huge difference. Now let me share a specific story where a cover letter opened up a door when I was actively looking for a new job in my layoff period. And it was a cover letter that I used using the points that I shared here today. And I started the cover letter with handling a very specific objection that they would have when they read my resume for the type of job that I applied to. This was a role as a director in the automotive industry, and it specifically stated in the job posting that you must have automotive industry. Now, when they would have read my resume, they wouldn't have seen the automotive industry experience because I had worked for Clorox and Hallmark. However, my first sales role was selling automotive products. That was STP and Armor All products, which at the time were sold by Clorox. Most people did not know that. So I started my cover letter specifically highlighting that my first sales experience was selling automotive products. I definitely got an interview and made it quite far in that process with that automotive company. And it was based on that initial cover letter. It really opened that door for me. So here's what I suggest you do right now. Pull up a recent cover letter that you used in your job search. Does it tell the reader something that they could tell just by a quick scan of your resume? Or does it connect your experience specifically to the role? And does it sound like a real person wrote it with a genuine interest in the company and the position? If the answer to any of these is no, then you know where to start. A cover letter that simply restates your resume is not going to do anything for you. But one that shows that you understand the company, that you're truly excited about the position, and that you have something real to offer them can really open up the conversation and get you that initial interview. In a market where most people have applications that all look the same, a well-written cover letter can truly be an advantage and help you stand out. Subscribe to my channel for career advice specifically for mid-career professionals. And if you'd like some support with your job search, I invite you to book a Get Hired strategy call with us. It's free. The link is below this video. And watch this video next. LinkedIn profile mistakes that make you invisible to recruiters. This video will show you how to be visible on the platform and attract recruiters to your profile for jobs that you're excited about. The link is in the description below. I'll see you in the next video.